why. We're going to talk about the issue, what happens in it, what I think about it, and my opinion may not be the popular opinion. We'll find out at the end. Before we get into it, if you like this channel and this content, please do me a favor and hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. I would love to have you, and let's talk about Amazing Spider-Man number 20. So obviously we're going to talk about what happens in this issue, so spoiler alert, if you haven't read the book and you want to, stop the video now, go back, read the book, come back, it'll be waiting for you. But we're going to get into the details on this book and why it's irritated so many people, to the fact that they have declared the character ruined forever. We're going to talk about whether or not that's true. So this book is part of the Zeb Wells, John Romita Jr. run of Amazing Spider-Man. This particular story arc, this issue and the one before it, were done by a guest creative team. Joe Kelly handling the writing, Terry and Rachel Dodson handling the art, and we are going to talk about the elephant in the room right now, which is a lot of people are having problems with the artwork on this book, because as somebody who knows Terry and Rachel Dodson's work, I know what they're capable of, and it was clear they probably didn't have the time they wanted to finish this book. So parts of it look a little bit rough, but overall I still think the artwork is really good. Terry Dodson draws a really good Spider-Man, and of course he draws an amazing Black Cat, so I thought the artwork was still solid despite the few panels in here where you could tell that they could have used a little bit more time. So full disclosure, I even bought the Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson cover. I thought it was better than that Blizzard cover that John Romita Jr. did. So this was the one that I chose. Now let's get into the issue. And I've read every issue of this run up to this point, so I'm going to try to add a little context on why I feel the way I do about this book. So this book starts out with Peter Parker and Black Cat fighting just nameless villains in New York. I think they were trying to rob the jewelry exchange. And let's talk about why the two of them are doing this, or fighting this together kind of as partners. So in the main idea of this story, the main theme is that between the last story arc, the Ben Reilly story, and this one, Peter Parker did something that has put him at odds with the entire Marvel Universe. The Avengers, Fantastic Four, everybody's written him off. Even Mary Jane has broken up with him. She's with another guy now that's got like a daughter, so she's a stepmom. Even Aunt May's not happy with him. Like, nobody is happy with Peter Parker over what he did. But the only person that stuck by his side was the Black Cat. And she is just it's loyalty. She loves Peter. And there's even a line in one of the books where she says, whatever choice you made, I know you well enough to know it was the right choice, even if it was unpopular. So she just believes that whatever it was that he did, it was right, and she's stuck with him for it. And she's the only person he's got in the world right now. And so the two have been fighting crime together and growing kind of close. And so she decides to, hey, why don't we take a weekend off, and we're gonna go to this like ski lodge or chalet or something that she knows about where they can just unwind, and the city will be there when they get back. So he agrees. They both need a break. So they head up to this place in upstate New York. Lo and behold, Mary Jane is there with her new guy too. So it's awkward. It turns out there's like a Groupon or something that everybody booked on that weekend. And he and the Black Cat have a conversation, which is, it's not fair that you and I are growing close when clearly you still have feelings you haven't resolved for Mary Jane. That comes up in the issue before this one. But that gets interrupted because White Rabbit is doing some kind of shenanigans, get-rich scheme where she's got a bunch of millionaire clients and she's letting them use hand-me-down supervillain equipment like Dr. Octopus arms and vulture wings or whatever. And they're having a whole deal in the forest where she's letting people pay her to use this stuff and have a little war game. Somebody got killed. The White Rabbit story doesn't matter to the storyline. That's kind of the backdrop for the action that happens in this comic. And then we get back to Peter Parker and Felicia Hardy after everything kind of resolves and the two of them are having a conversation. And this is what has everybody upset, is she's asking Peter Parker about Mary Jane being part of his life. And Peter Parker has to admit that, yes, he and MJ are too close for the two of them to ever be separated. He tries to say, but I love her, but it's like a sisterly love. And that's where a lot of fans got lost on this one. But Black Cat shuts that down immediately. No, it's not. She wasn't going to let him do that. Your closeness isn't that. So Peter had to acknowledge there is love for her. There always will be, but the love has kind of changed. I.e., Peter Parker has moved on. Mary Jane already had. And at the start of this series, Peter Parker had. He was calling Mary Jane, trying to talk to her. She was having to ignore him because she was in a new place. She didn't want anything to do with him anymore, and he still wanted to try to get her back. That wasn't going to happen, and that was really preventing this relationship from he and Felicia Hardy to move forward. And so he finally admits that, and she tells him that she knows he was being honest because for the first time she felt like he was saying it to himself, not just to her. And the two of them have a kind of a kiss, and that's where the issue ends. So really what this comes down to is a lot of people are upset because they want to see, obviously Peter and MJ are the couple that everybody loves to see, and so do I. I think MJ is a great character. Peter Parker and Mary Jane I think they're great together, but Felicia Hardy is a very cool character, and she's not like a newbie into the Spider-Man universe. She's been around since the early days of Amazing Spider-Man. The two of them had an on-again, off-again love affair for a lot of years. And quite frankly, I don't know that Felicia Hardy's not the more interesting character, especially as a love interest, because Mary Jane is she's kind of there. She does her own thing. She's got a modeling career. She's got infinite understanding for Peter Parker, which is great. Felicia Hardy is a former criminal. She's got kind of superpowers. She's a bit more capable. She has she's issues. She can be jealous. She can be reckless. She can be prone to anger. I just think she's an interesting character to read. And when you're putting them up against each other, it really kind of comes down to who would you rather see Peter Parker end up with, Felicia Hardy or Black Cat? And maybe it's because of the era I came into collecting Amazing Spider-Man. I don't know that I don't fall on Team Black Cat for this, because I think she's a more interesting character. I think she and Peter go better together. Both of their worlds interact with each other. Unlike Mary Jane, who has to kind of leave behind when he becomes Spider-Man, Felicia has just as much of an alter ego as Peter Parker does. So the two of them work in both of the same circles. I think it's a neat idea. Now, a lot of this is going to be based on whether or not Peter Parker and Mary Jane are going to stay broken up and what it was that actually broke them up. We don't know what that is. We're supposed to know what it is soon. And if it comes out that whatever this force that came between them was, you can tell that there's something temporary there, something out of context, something out of place that's going to bring them back together. That's probably what they're angling for. But I said it before, if there's going to be one character that's going to dethrone Mary Jane as the love interest, it's probably going to be the Black Cat. And I would think if out of all of fandom, if they were going to accept anybody else other than Gwen Stacy herself, but we know that can't happen, I would think that Felicia Hardy is probably going to be that other option, the one that most people would agree is somebody that Peter Parker could legitimately end up with. So I kind of like it. I kind of like seeing him, giving her a chance, because they've never really had the chance at the full-on relationship. The first time they got together, she was a recovering criminal. She was still kind of in and out of that world. He was having to keep it hidden because he knew that the rest of the hero community wouldn't agree with it. Then they broke up. He got with Mary Jane. They never got back together. They kind of tried on in before, but they've never had a chance to see the book just go with the two of them together as a couple. And I think it's worth exploring that, at least, to see where that can go. Maybe it would be something that would be a better story, a better ending for him than riding off into the sunset with Mary Jane. But anyway, that's my opinion. So yeah, I find myself on Team Black Cat on this one. I like it. I think that he and Mary Jane have had their shot. They've had their ups and downs, and maybe it's just time. Maybe all relationships have to end, and maybe it's time for that one. And I really want to see a potential of what an actual Spider-Man Black Cat relationship themed book going forward would look like. So, and I've been an Amazing Spider-Man fan since forever, literally the first comic I collected. So what do you guys think? Which team, are you Team Felicia or Team MJ? I think that's probably going to be the number one thing we're going to talk about in the comments. So let's talk about that while you're down there. Like I said before, do all the usual stuff, and I will talk to you in the next video. See you then. Bye.